and welcome to the auxiliary gym, the Red Zone Junior at Hicksville Schools. We're getting ready for, the second game that we've covered here tonight on Hicksville Community Television. It's boys junior high basketball action, and we're getting ready for the 8th grade matchup between the Hicksville Aces and the visiting Bulldogs of Defiance. Hi, everybody. Bill Murphy with you once again to call the play-by-play. And again, Ava Leeske making her debut, one of our new volunteers running the camera this evening. We really appreciate Ava taking a little time out of her schedule, volunteering some time for HIX-TV. First game, the 7th grade game, went to the Aces as they defeated the Bulldogs 36-26. And now the 8th graders are going to be taking the floor. I'll let you know in advance that when it comes to the rosters, the Defiance roster, we were given only has the last names. So we're just going to be identifying the Defiance players by their numbers and last names. So we'll get ready to jump center. Number 14, Braden Langham, facing off against number 33, that's Moats. Tip controlled by the Aces. And the ball goes into the hands of Jacob Miller, wearing number 10. Also on the floor tonight, number 23, Travian Tunis for the Aces. That shot is up and good from number 13, Isaac Strubing. Quickly the other way. Number 25 puts it up, no good. That's Lammers for the Bulldogs. He'll toss it out front to Held, wearing number 21. I mentioned number 32 is Klein for the Bulldogs. Number 25, Lammers. 21 is Held. Lammers will put it up. An air ball, no good. Saved, but tossed back in to the Aces. And Strubing will quickly flip it over to Tunis, who will shoot it to Jacob Miller, who will get it to Strubing again, down into the corner to Langham. Langham on the wing. The Aces will work their offense. Bit of a trip, but he manages to get the ball off, and then he'll take it in and draw the foul. That was Tunis driving into the paint and picking up team foul number 1 for the Bulldogs. Gabe Bland inbounds it to Langham. Once again, Hicksville will set their offense. Knocked out of his hands, picked back up by Miller. Miller loses it, and it's picked up by the Bulldogs, and here we come the other way. Shot up from three-point land is no good, but the putback is. Moats with the bucket, and he's going to go to the line. Moats ties it at 2. And he'll have the chance here to give the Bulldogs their first lead. He makes it. So it's 3-2 Defiance now. And we'll come back the other way with the Aces. Miller tosses it over to Tunis, down into the corner. Kick it back out. Tunis wasn't ready for it. Goes into the laps of the Defiance bench. Turnover, back to the Dogs. Held with the ball for Defiance. He'll feed it down low to Gorilla. Gorilla picks the pocket of Tunis. Back the other way, they'll feed it off to Moats. Will put it up and in. Moats with all 5 of the Bulldogs' points so far tonight. They lead by 3, 5-2. Bounce pass to Strubing. Strubing, and it'll be an over and back. His pass went off the hands of Miller and went into the other half of the court. Miller tried to pop it back, but too late. Number 3, Chappell, into the game for Defiance. Inbounds, Klein gets it into Held, and Held takes it across half court. Guarded by Miller. They'll work it around. Chappell with the ball now. Chappell drive into the paint. He'll put it up and good. Good looking shot from Chappell. Makes it 7-2. 3:30 left to go in the first quarter. Miller Driving in, and he gets his pocket picked, and it's back the other way with Lammers with the ball. Lammers will bounce it off to Chappell. Back to Lammers on the wing. Lammers for three. No good, and he's fouled. He's going to go to the line and shoot three. Second team foul on the Aces, and that's going to put Lammers at the line, and he's going to get three. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor. So these a quick 30-second timeout here, taken by the Bulldogs, by the Aces. As it started off fairly evenly matched game, but Defiance just turned up the Jets here and exploded with a 5 unanswered point run. Got some good height on their team. We'll come out of the timeout. As again, they'll have a few discussions on the Hicksville side. And it'll be young Mr. Lammers shooting three. Lammers' first shot is good. He's got two more. 3:15 left to go in the opening quarter. Lammers' second shot. Bounces around and does not go through. And he's got one more. Into the game, Hutchinson, number 5 for Defiance. Lammers' third shot is good. So he gets 2 out of 3. And we'll come quickly back the other way. Jake Miller drives in, puts up a prayer, and he'll get fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Miller at the line, his team down by 7. Chance to close the gap a little bit with the clock stopped, 3:08. Miller gets the first one. Second one's no good. Battle of the rebound, and the winner is Klein for Defiance. Bulldogs quickly down. Klein in the paint, kicks it back out to Hutchison. Hutchison looking things over. He'll bounce pass it down on the wing to Handler. Handler to Chappell. Chappell back to Handler down in the corner. Chappell on the wing and back out on top to Hutchison. Knocked loose. Hutchison reestablish possession. Take it back across half court. Hutchison feeds it off to Klein. Back to Chappell. Chappell. And Chappell traveled. So Defiance turns it over to Hicksville. 2:24 left in the opening quarter. Inbounds from Bland to Miller. Miller to Tunis on the wing. Tunis kicks it down to Langham. Back to Miller, winds up with it. He tries to feed it in to Bland. It goes between his legs and out of bounds. So Klein will get the ball into Hutchison. Hutchison to Handler. To Chappell. Chappell for 3 off the glass, no good. Langham grabs the rebound. He'll slow up and let the rest of his team catch up. Feeds off to Miller to Tunis. Tunis, long 3 is no good from Bland. And we're going to have a foul on Held, I believe. Team foul number 2 on the Bulldogs. The Aces have picked up 3 so far. 1:37 to go in the opening quarter. Inbounds to Hutchison. Hutchison, bounce pass down to Morton, back to Hutchison, down low. McDonald will kick it back out into Hutchison again. Hutchison feeds it off the hands of McDonald, and it goes out of bounds. The Aces will get the ball back. Gabe Bland tosses it into Miller. Miller will bring it across the timeline. 1:09 left in the quarter. Bland for three. No good. Rebound comes down to Handler. Handler gets into a bit of a scrum with Braden Langham and travels. So the Aces will get the ball back with a minute exactly left in the quarter. Inbounds to Langham, to Miller. Back to Langham, back to Miller. Tunis. Langham under the bucket, rolls around the rim and doesn't go in, and we're going to have a foul underneath. And I think that they're going to call Braden Langham for that infraction. So it'll be the Bulldogs' ball. 47 seconds. That's team foul number 4 on the Aces. By the way, 8th grade boys basketball here on a Monday night, last day of November 2015. McDonald with the ball. He'll toss it over to Morton. Morton has it deflected. Tunis comes up with it. Travian takes it across half court. He'll pull the trigger from three-point land. No good. Rebound comes down to Handler. Handler quickly the other way. Means he gets the ball off to Hutchison. They'll wind up the whistle underneath. Might be Strubing that got the call on that one. Nope. Tunis. Tunis picks up team foul number 5, and it'll be Defiance ball out of bounds. Handler tries to get it in, and Tunis slaps it right back out of bounds. Try one more time. Handler. Off the hands of Hutchison, right into Tunis's hands, and Tunis will go strong to the hoop, and he'll get fouled, and he'll go to the line with 14.2 seconds. Travian Tunis draws the foul. First shot's good. He'll get one more. Tunis gets them both to drop, makes it a 4-point game, 9-5. Defiance Bulldogs with the lead. Hutchison, bounce pass down to Morton. Morton back to Hutchison, feeds it down low to McDonald. McDonald tries to kick it back out. We got a whistle. That's going to be on the Bulldogs. Aces will get the ball back. 2.2 seconds. Tunis launches it somewhere towards Williams County. It does not come close, and that's the end of the first quarter. And after one, it's the Defiance Bulldogs leading the Hicksville Aces in this 8th grade boys basketball game, 9-5, our first quarter score. And as we get ready for quarter number 2, again, we'll take some time to say a big thank you to our HIX-TV basketball broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Winter weather is a-coming. It'll be here before you know it, and if you need to get your vehicle ready to go for the cold months ahead, you owe it to yourself to stop by and check out the great service departments at both the Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick and Jim Schmidt Ford. They can get your oil changed and radiator checked and everything all set, so you will be ready for the winter driving in the cold months ahead. Terrific service before, during, and after the sale. It's a hallmark of the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships. Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. Well, getting ready to head into our second 6 minutes of basketball in the 8th grade game. Number 15, Pearson, on the floor for Defiance, as is Lawrence, wearing number 42. Inbounds to Held at number 21, as the Bulldogs have the ball to start the second quarter. He'll flip it over to Hutchison. Hutchison back to Held. Held holding on to the ball. Down to Hutchison. Hutchison's going to make a break towards the paint. Back in. He'll kick it down low to Pearson. Put it up over the hoop and no good and out of bounds. It'll be the Aces ball. Pearson had a good look at the hoop. Just a little too much on the ball as it sailed right over and out of bounds. Bland gets the ball into Langham. Langham tosses it down to Strubing. Strubing to Miller, who puts it up, no good. Tunis grabs the board. Tunis will put it up and good. Travian Tunis with his first field goal makes it 9-7 as the Aces pull within 2. Morton with the ball over to Hutchison. Hutchison will look things over. We're a minute into the second quarter. Hutchison back to Morton. Morton kicks it back out to Hutchison. And he'll toss it over to Held. Held drives down. And he's going to be fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Team foul number 6, so next foul by Defiance will put the Bulldogs into the bonus for the rest of the half. And at the line, shooting 2 will be Held for Defiance. Again, the roster that we were given for the 8th grade boys team didn't have first names. So I'm not being, no disrespect intended. I don't know their first names. I don't want to make them up. So Lawrence will come out, and Ray, number 30, will come in for him. Held will have one more shot. A quick substitution for the Aces as well, as Sullivan will come in for Miller. Held's second shot is good. So Held gets his name in the scorebook. And we'll come back the other way with the Aces. Down low to Bland, and Bland is going to get tripped up. Team foul number 4 on the Bulldogs. Defiance with the 3-point lead, 10-7. Bland inbounds to Langham. Langham will put it up right away, no good. Rebound come down, grabbed by the Aces. Nice no-look pass. Bland winds up with it. Bland from 3 is good. Now you're going to say his foot's on the line. It's a long 2 for Bland. Gabe Bland makes it a 1-point game, 10-9. And Held going to get fouled. And that's going to be 1-1, I do believe, for the Bulldogs. And I think they're going to whistle that one on Braden Langham. And it should be 1-1. Yep. They got it squared away. Held should be at the line to shoot the bonus. Indeed. Scoring table lets the officials know. 4:19 to go before halftime. And Held looking to add on to that 1-point lead for the Defiance Bulldogs. Gets the front end, so he'll get the bonus. Makes it 9-11. They'll have one more. And that one's no good. Rebound comes down to the Dogs, though. Pearson flips it over, and it's 2 more for Held. Tunis as the Aces come the other way. Shot is up by Strubing, no good. Rebound grabbed by Ray. Ray gets it over to Held. And Held, he'll take a shot at it over the backboard. It'll be Aces ball. 3:50 to go, and the Bulldogs up by 4, 13-9. Bland with the inbounds to Tunis. Tunis a little directing the traffic, and he's just going to go straight to the hoop. Count it, and he was fouled. Travian Tunis with the bucket and a chance to complete the three-point play. And again to draw the Aces to within a point. Right now 13-11. That was team foul number 5 on the Bulldogs. Tunis gets the free throw. Other way. Held. Tosses it over to Hutchison. Hutchison back to Held. Over to Ray. Over across to Clark. Clark down low to Pearson. Pearson's turnaround jumper no good. Bounce. Okay. Langham comes up with it for the Aces. Langham flips it back to Tunis, who shoots it down to Bland in the corner. Bland, a little dribbling, back to Langham. Langham down low to Strubing, who kicks it out to Sullivan. Sullivan in some trouble. Gets it off to Strubing, and Strubing traveled. Strubing takes the extra step that you're not allowed to take. 3:03 left in this half, and they turn it back over to the Bulldogs. So Held will take it across half court for Defiance. Held works his way in, puts it up, in and out, and back in. Friendly bounce on the rim for Held, and that makes it 15-12. Bulldogs back up by 3. Tunis answering on the other end, puts it up and in. Tunis back to a 1-point game. As Held over to Pearson. Pearson gets it to Hutchison. Hutchison will pull the trigger. No good. Long carry him out. Grabbed by Langham. Langham over to Tunis. 2:15. Bland will put up a high arch. No good. Langham grabs the board. Langham to Strubing. Strubing will drive baseline, and he'll get fouled. So Isaac Strubing picks up the foul. That'll be team foul number 6, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 2. And the next foul will put the Aces into the 1-and-1. Isaac Strubing gets it. Strubing ties the game at 15. If he hits the next one, then the Aces will have their first lead in a while. As Moats and Lammers come back in for Defiance. Strubing's second shot, no good. Klein grabs the board, tosses it over to Held. Held, bounce pass, down to Lammers. Lammers to Moats in the corner. Moats trying to battle his way towards the hoop. Nice move, puts it up, no good. Klein grabs the rebound and throws it out of bounds. Aces will get the ball back. Still tied at 15. 1:45 to go before halftime. Bland inbounds to Tunis. Tunis quickly down to Strubing. Strubing's going to get fouled, and he's going to go to the line to shoot 2. Isaac Strubing, strong move to the hoop, draws the foul, puts the Aces into the bonus, and this will be a 2-shot foul regardless. So Isaac Strubing, 1:40 left to go before halftime. Strubing misses the first one. And misses the second one. Moats controls the rebound, tosses it over to Held. Held with a minute and a half. Bounce pass to Lammers. Lammers back to Held. Klein. Klein on the wing. Gives it down low to Lammers. Lammers will pull the trigger. His shot's good. Lammers with his first field goal of the night. He's got 4 points. Tunis to Strubing. Strubing going to get fouled. It'll be on the floor. They're going to call it on held, and that should put Strubing at the line to shoot 1-1. With 1:07 to go. Defiance leading 17-15, but the Aces at the free throw line. Up and no good. Rejected and out of bounds. Stays with the Bulldogs. And a timeout from Defiance. 1:03 to go. They've got a 2-point lead. They'll have the ball when we come out of the timeout. 17-15. Again, both teams are in the bonus as we near halftime of this 8th grade boys basketball game. Leading scorers so far tonight in the first half. Tunis for Hicksville has 9. And 6 points for Held on the Bulldogs side. 5 points for Moats. Moats going to handle the inbounds for the Bulldogs. Again, 1:03 to go before the half. Moats get it into Held. Held takes it across the timeline with 58 to Klein. Klein to Lammers. Lammers will take a shot again. He likes that spot, but this time he misses. Ball's loose on the floor. Comes up with Tunis. Tunis being pressured by Moats, gets it out of there to Bland. Bland going to get knocked out of bounds and should stay with the Bulldogs. Swarming defense from the Bulldogs, giving the Aces a little problem, but they break the pressure. And ball knocked out of bounds. Bland gets it into Langham. Top of the key to Sullivan. Sullivan over to Strubing, to Bland, to Tunis. Tunis will take the shot. No good. Rebound out of bounds. And it'll go to the Bulldogs. 25 seconds left in the half. A lot of action, but no scoring on that exchange. Held again, going to take his time, and he'll take it into the Aces half of the court with 18 seconds, 15 seconds as he passes to Lammers. Lammers take the shot, no good. Langham grabs the board with 9. Tunis across half court with 6. Tunis going to get waved off. He traveled. He had to stop and think about whether he wanted to run for the bucket or pull up and take the shot. And he moved his feet 4 seconds as Held comes across. Held's going to put it up. No good, and that's the end of the first half. And at halftime, it's the Defiance Bulldogs leading the Hicksville Aces in this 8th grade boys basketball game. 17-15, your halftime score. We're going to take a break, but stay with us. We'll be back, and we'll have the exciting second half coming your way right here on HIX-TV. Well, welcome back. We're about a little under a minute away from getting the second half underway in the 8th grade boys basketball game. Again, if you're just joining us at halftime, it's the Defiance Bulldogs leading the Aces by a bucket, 17-15. Taking a quick look at the unofficial scoring in that first half. Aces up first. They're on the short end of the scoreboard. They're 15 points. Go this way, 9 points for Travian Tunis. He had 3 field goals and 3 free throws. 3 points off a field goal and a free throw for Isaac Strubing. A bucket and 2 for Gabe Bland, and a free throw in 1 for Jake Miller. Over on the Bulldogs side, they've got Held with 2 two-pointers and 2 free throws for 6. 5 points for Moats, 4 for Lammers, and 2 points from Chappell. And my quick math is correct. That's 17-15. So that should account for all of the scoring. Glad to have you with us, and again, we'll get ready to get the second half underway. It'll be the Aces ball to start the third quarter. 6 minutes on the clock, and we'll be ready to go. It's been a well-played boys 8th grade basketball game. Ball inbounds to Miller. Miller Tries to feed it down. It's deflected and stolen away by the Bulldogs. They get it to Lammers. Lammers bounce pass down to Moats. Moats guarded by Langham, looking for something, not finding it. Feeds it to Lammers, who cuts through the middle, no good. Put back up, no good. And out of bounds finally. 3 shots on goal. None of them would drop for the Bulldogs, but they lose. They get the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Hicksville. So they'll be able to restart their possession. Gorilla looking to inbounds, and he took too long. Nope, I take that back. It's going to be that one's going to be on Strubing. Strubing, a little too close. So Gorilla inbounds to Moats. Moats drives into the paint. Puts it up, no good. Gets his own rebound. Tries again, gets it to drop this time. Moats makes it a 4-point game. Strubing the other way for the Aces. He'll run, put it over to Bland. Bland shot short, no good. Strubing grabs the rebound and winds up diving into the cheerleaders. He'll get up, no worse for the wear. Looks like the cheerleaders survived the contact too. So Klein will inbounds it to Held, and we'll come back the other way with the Bulldogs. Klein to Gorilla. Gorilla's shot no good. Lammers grabs it on the far side. We'll kick it back out to Held at the top of the key. Back to Klein. Klein will drive to the hoop. In and out, no good. Langham grabs the board for the Aces. Langham to Tunis. Tunis down to Bland. Bland behind the back dribble, gets it back to Tunis. Tunis to Strubing. Strubing over to Miller. Miller back to Tunis. Tunis gets run into by Held. Aces will have it out of bounds, and that'll be the first team foul on the Bulldogs. Bland to Miller. Miller down to the corner to Langham. Langham to Bland. Bland drives in. He'll kick it back out. He'll go around to Strubing. Isaac looking things over. Strubing losing the dribble. Gets it back out to Langham. Lucky there. Strubing. Held. Held for 3. Short. Miller gets blocked. And Lammers comes up with the ball the other way for the Aces, or for the Bulldogs. Lays it up, no good. And we're going to have a jump ball underneath the bucket. Possession arrow goes to the Bulldogs. Gorilla. Almost stolen away by Tunis. But it'll stay with the Dogs. 3:57 left in the third quarter. Gorilla. Long inbounds to Lammers. Lammers for 3. No good. Rebound, Gorilla. And he's going to get hacked. That'll be over the back, I think, on Bland. And that's going to put Gorilla at the line to shoot 2. First one, no good. He'll have one more. Quick substitution as Dylan Meek will come into the game, and Bland will have a seat. Second shot. In and out and back in. First point of the night for Gorilla. As Miller goes the other way for the Aces. Couple of bounce passes. Langham winds up with it. Kicks it back to Tunis. Tunis to Strubing, and Strubing's going to get fouled. That'll be team foul number 2 on the Bulldogs. And they'll have it out of bounds side court. Inbounds to Miller. Miller to Tunis, back to Miller. Miller to Langham. Langham gets it over to Miller again. Miller back to Tunis. Tunis will pull the trigger. It's good. It's a long 2 for Travian Tunis. Make it 20-17. Aces back within 3. Loose on the floor. Scooped up there by Langham. Langham guarded closely by Moats. Gets it out of there to Tunis. Tunis quickly down to Strubing. Strubing tries to feed it inside to Meek. Winds up going out of bounds. Last touched by Hicksville. Quick substitution as Held will go out and Hutchison back in for the Bulldogs. Moats with the inbounds to Hutchison. Also in the game, number 22, Taylor, for the Bulldogs. Chappell gets the ball on the wing. Chappell to Hutchison. Directing traffic. Feeds it inside, but it's stolen away by Langham. Langham's going to take it the distance. Put it up off the glass, no good. Tunis trying to make something happen. They kick it out to Miller, who sinks it. 4-2. 2019 now. Aces back within a point. Moats driving into the paint. Pulls up, no good. Langham grabs the board. Langham to Tunis. Tunis kicks it back out to Langham. Langham to Miller. Miller's going to take it in. He'll put it up off glass. No good. Klein grabs the board. Quickly the other way. Klein. And Klein's going to get the charge. Whistled against him. Strubing had the position and took the charge. Offensive foul. Team foul number 3, I believe now, on the Dogs. And it'll be Ace's ball. Down by 1, 20-19. Langham gets the ball into Tunis. Tunis down to Bland. Kick it back out to Tunis. Tunis for 3. It's good. Travian Tunis puts the Aces in the lead, 22-20, with a nice 3-point shot. Chappell on the wing. He'll feed it inside to Taylor. Taylor kicks it back over to Pearson. Inside to Klein. Klein puts it up. Excuse me, that was McDonald with the turnaround jumper for 2. Ties at 22. We're going to have a whistle. And that's going to be, I think, on Chappell. So Bland will get the inbounds with 1:30 to go in the third quarter. Down in the corner to Langham. Langham back out to Bland. Bland for 3. No. Strubing. A push off. Team foul number 2 against the Aces. Pearson getting ready to inbounds to Hutchison for Defiance. Hutchison. Miller coming out, give him a little token pressure at half court. Tosses it over to Clark. Clark down in the corner to Pearson. Back to Clark on the wing. And that's going to be another Aces foul, as Miller didn't have the timing down quite right, and he collides with Hutchison. Team foul number 3 on the Aces, and they'll take Mr. Miller out for a little bit. Nate Sullivan will come in for him. Chappell getting ready to inbounds for Defiance. Gets it down into the corner to Clark. Clark to Pearson. Tries to feed it inside. It's stolen away by Strubing. Tosses it back to Tunis. Sends it down to Bland. Bland puts it up. Rebound Pearson. And we'll come back the other way. Under a minute to go. Hutchison to Clark to Pearson. And again, deflected. Langham comes up with it for the Aces. He glances up at the clock. 45 seconds. And he feeds it off to one of his teammates who isn't there, but they managed to get it back. Quick substitution into the game, handler for the Bulldogs. It'll be the Aces ball, just their side of midcourt on the sideline. Bland. Tunis makes the break, but he tosses it in to Sullivan. Sullivan launches it, no good. Rebound grabbed by McDonald. McDonald over to Hutchison with 29. Hutchison down to 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Stolen by Strubing. Strubing's going to take it the distance, puts it up, lays it in. Isaac Strubing with the bucket to make it 24-22 Aces. Hutchison comes the other way with 10. 9. Hutchison feeds it over to Handler. Handler to Pearson. Pearson down low. And they're going to lose it, get it back, loose on the floor. They don't get a shot off. And that's the end of the third quarter. And the Aces tie it up and take the lead. And after 3, it's Hicksville leading Defiance by a bucket, 24-22. Well, we've got 6 more minutes of basketball coming your way in the fourth quarter, and you're going to want to fasten your seat belts the way this one's going. We could be in for quite a final stanza of this 8th grade boys basketball game. So as we get ready for that exciting fourth quarter to come our way, we'll take some time to say another big thank you to our HIX-TV basketball broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, both Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick and Jim Schmidt Ford, and the Jim Schmidt Truck Lot, all lending their support to help us at HIX-TV bring you basketball action for the 2015-16 season. Not only do we cover the varsity and the junior varsity, but 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th grade as well for both the boys and the girls. Scheduling permitting, of course. We try to get as many of them in as we possibly can. And it's all made possible thanks to the generous underwriting support of the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. All right, here we go. Aces up by 2. Inbounds to Miller. Miller, cross half court. Miller drives to the hoop, feeds it off to Bland. Bland down to Langham in the corner. Langham's going to drive baseline and kick it back out to Miller, who will toss it over to Strubing. Strubing nearly loses the handle, gets it to Bland. Bland does lose it out of bounds. Aces don't get a shot off, and they turn it over to the Bulldogs. Klein with the inbounds to Held back in the game. Held over to Lammers. Lammers down to Klein. Klein bounce passing it into Moats. Moats guarded by Langham. His turnaround jumper off the glass, no good. He's going to tie it up with Tunis. Oh, they're going to whistle him for the foul. So Moats going to draw the personal. That'll be team foul, I think, number 5. Aces will get the ball out of bounds. Up by 2 to Tunis, to Jake Miller. Miller back to Tunis, to Strubing. Strubing, I don't know what he was trying to do with that. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Aces. Maybe he was just trying to get them a chance to inbounds and set their offense a little better. Bland into Langham. Langham to Miller. Miller bounce pass to Strubing. Strubing. And I think he was expecting Miller to cut towards the hoop, and he didn't. So it goes out of bounds to the Bulldogs. Klein will inbounds it to Held. Held to Moats. Moats over to Gorilla. Back to Held. Bounce pass down to Moats in the corner. He's going to go along the baseline, put it up, no good. Ball loose on the floor. We're going to have another tie-up, and that one's going to be a jump ball between Tunis and Moats, and that should go to the Bulldogs. 4:52 left in the game, and it is anybody's game at this point. Aces up by 2. Garilla inbounds to Held. Held moving it around the perimeter, guarded by Miller. Flips it over to Klein. Klein to Gorilla. Into the paint. Tries to put it up, and he'll draw the foul. And he'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Team foul number 3 on the Aces. And so Gorilla will be at the line with a chance to tie it up if he can hit both these free throws. Officials having a bit of a mini conference here. So they reversed themselves, no shots. They said it was on the floor. So that was team foul number 4, by the way. I want to correct myself. Number 4 on the Aces. They have committed 4. The Bulldogs have committed 5. So instead of shooting, it'll be Bulldogs ball out of bounds at the baseline. Bounce pass into Moats. He just manages to hang on to it. Moats will kick it over to Lammers. Lammers down to Gorilla. Inside to Moats. Looking for a shot, nothing there. Lammers will pull the trigger from three-point land, no good. Long carom, grabbed by Miller. Miller gets it out to Langham. Langham, long shot down to Tunis. Tunis to Bland. Bland blocked by Moats. Out of bounds. It'll stay with the Aces. Nice play by Moats. He's got nothing but ball, slapped it out of bounds. Chappell will come in for the Bulldogs. Bland will have it out of bounds. Long inbounds. Lammers goes for it, knocks it out of bounds. It'll still be the Aces ball, but now it'll be midcourt. 4:10 left in regulation. Inbounds to Miller. Miller. Spin move to Tunis. Tunis drives into the paint. Puts up a prayer. No good. Grabbed by Moats. Moats, other way. Working through traffic. Gets it off to Chappell. Up to the top to Held. Held over to Lammers. Lammers to Moats. Moats. Going to be fouled. Aces team foul number 5. Chappell. Bounce pass, stolen by Miller. Miller quickly the other way. Miller's going to take it to the hoop, and he's going to have it deflected by Klein. Grabbed by Held, and Held will go the other way for the Dogs. Held puts it up for Moats. The alley-oop up and good. That ties it at 24. 3:22. Quickly down to Strubing. Strubing caromed out of there, grabbed by Lammers. And here come the Bulldogs. Chappell. Back to Lammers. Lammers will take it in. He'll pull up and shoot. No good. Rebound picked up by Moats, and he puts it up and puts it in. Moats gives the Aces. Well, they're on the short end now. Moats with the Bulldogs up now 26-24. And timeout on the floor. The Aces want to talk things over. They're going to take a full 1-minute timeout. Both sides playing each other pretty tough so far in this second half. Again, Aces battling back. They were down by 2 at halftime. They came back to take a 2-point lead at the end of the third quarter. And here we are, just about the midway point of the fourth and final quarter. And it's been back and forth. The Bulldogs tying it up, and then Moats just gave them the lead. So they're up by a bucket now, 26-24. Both teams have committed 5 fouls. So both teams getting close to putting their opponent into the bonus. As we go to the last 10 seconds of this full 1-minute timeout, we'll get ready to get back into action. I told you it's going to be an exciting fourth quarter. So far, hasn't failed to deliver. It'll be Aces ball. We'll have it on the side. Bland, get ready for the inbounds. He gets it into Miller. Guarded by Lammers, some full court pressure. or at least token pressure from the Aces. Tunis lines it up, launches it, no good. And we're going to have a foul underneath the bucket. That's going to be on Defiance. That'll be team foul 6. So the next Defiance foul will send the Aces to the free throw line. And this is a close game, so those free throws might matter an awful lot. Strubing gets the inbounds, gets it to Miller. Miller driving in, bounce pass to Bland. Bland puts it up off the back of the iron, no good. Langham goes for the rebound, misses. Chappell comes up with it for the Bulldogs. Chappell to Moats. Moats over to Held, and they'll catch their breath here and let everybody get their feet underneath them. Good patience from the Bulldogs. Held tosses it over to Moats. Moats back to Held. Held back to Moats. Bounce pass down to Lammers. Lammers looking, not seeing anything. Gets it back to Held with 2:11 left in regulation. Lammers now on the wing. Chappell cuts down low, nothing there. Tries to feed it inside to Moats. Moats no doing, but he manages to get it over to Klein, who misses. Langham comes up with the board for the Aces. He'll toss it over to Tunis. Tunis to Strubing. Strubing pulls the trigger for 3, no good. Chappell grabs the board. We come back the other way with the Bulldogs. Lammers out on top to Held. Held with 1:40 left in the game to Chappell. Chappell to Klein. Klein back to Chappell. Chappell gets it back to Held with 1:30. Held going to hold it up. His team's up by 2, and we're going to have timeout. And that's going to be the Bulldogs calling the timeout. They're up by 2, and they want to, stay on the positive side if at all possible. And of course, the Aces want to get this game tied up and see if they can snatch a victory here. Full 1-minute timeout. As this is our second trip here to the auxiliary gym. We were here back on the 19th for the girls. We're here with the 7th and 8th grade game. They played the games they played against Edgerton. Glad we were able to work it into our schedule to be here on this Monday, November the 30th, to get a couple of the boys' games on the air for you on HIX-TV. So we'll have a few more basketball games we'll cover. And we have kind of a break in the middle of December. And of course, we've got the Route 49 Classic after Christmas. And then we'll really pick things up in earnest with basketball coverage when we get to January in 2016. That's still a ways away. 1:22 left in the game. Moats with the inbounds to Held. Held. Miller. Over to Hutchison. To Tunis. Tunis steals it. Tunis goes to the hoop, lays it up, and he's fouled. And that's going to put the Aces in the bonus now, too. So they'll be shooting 1-and-1 here. This is going to be, I believe, a 2-shot foul for Tunis. And Travian in the act of shooting. Well, we'll see. Tunis gets the first one to drop. If it makes it academic, whether it's a 2-shot foul or a 1-and-1, he's getting the second shot either way. 1:10 to go. Aces down by 1. Tunis ties it up. 26 each. And here comes Held. Held across half court. Held drives it in. Spin move. Minute to go. Lammers. Lammers down in the corner to Klein. Klein. Bounce pass down low to Moats. And Moats travels. Turns it over. Aces get the ball back with 53 seconds left in the game. Tunis takes the inbounds. Full court pressure. Tunis flips it over and it's stolen away. Lammers comes up with the ball for the Aces, for the Bulldogs. Gets it over to Hutchison. Hutchison back to Held with 37. Held, bounce pass to Moats. Moats going to drive the hoop. We're going to have a foul. You're going to say Strubing. And that's going to put Moats on the line. Nope, I take that back. That's going to be out of bounds. That was only team foul number 6. Lammers. Long inbounds to Held. Held, bounce pass right to Lammers. Lammers from just inside the three-point arc, no good. Klein grabs the board with 27, and we got a foul. And that is going to send Klein to the line to shoot 1 and 1. That's going to be on Strubing. And this will be a 1 and 1 for Klein. Tied at 26. Now it's then the free throws really count. Klein's first one. He misses the front end. Tunis with the ball. Stolen away by Moats. Moats puts it up. No good. And Bland grabs the board. Timeout. The referees are going to do it, but it's timeout, and I think it's going to be Defiance's ball. So we're having a lot of discussion amongst the coaching staff and the men with the striped shirts. But I think we're going to come out of this full 1 minute timeout, and it's going to be the Aces ball. Both teams in the bonus. They've each committed 7 team fouls. So free throw shooting is still in the mix here. Tied at 26. And again, this is anybody's game as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty, down to about 15 seconds left. So an exciting wrap-up to this evening of junior high basketball action. Again, in the early game, the 7th grade game, the Aces beat Defiance by 10, 36-26. And we're going to get ready to close this one out here. 15 seconds exactly left in the game. Oh, left in regulation, I guess I should say. Tied at 26. Inbounds to Tunis. Tunis feeds it over to Langham. Langham with 8. Nearly loses it. Langham goes to the hoop, lays it up, no good. Moats grabs the board. Moats the other way. Is he going to get it off in time? He does, but it's no good. And that's the end of regulation, and we're going to overtime. So Ava gets some bonus coverage on her first night running the camera. As we are tied at 26 at the end of regulation. So we'll have a quick 1 minute break here. The officials will go over things with the coaches. And we'll get ready to play our first overtime period. So we're glad to have you with us. Again, it's been an exciting night of junior high basketball action. Nice win for the 7th graders in the early game. And this one going down to the wire in the 8th grade contest. Ready for the overtime period here. And we'll have another jump off, of course. End of regulation, leading all scorers. By the way, Tunis for Hicksville with 16 points, and Moats, the top man for Defiance, with 11 points unofficially in the first 4 quarters. So we're going to have Langham and Pearson jump in center. Jump controlled by the Aces, sort of. Well, nope, stolen out of there by Pearson. Pearson gets it over to Held. 3 minutes in the overtime on the clock. Down to 2:47 already. Held to Pearson. Pearson inside to Klein. Klein puts it up, no good. Gets his own rebound. His putback is good. Klein gets his first 2 points of the night at a great time. Pearson steals the pass. Bounce pass to Chappell. And he traveled. So Bulldogs up by 2, 28-26. 2:29 left to go in the overtime. Inbounds to Jake Miller to Tunis. And it's off the hand of Bland. Chappell going to drive and lose the handle on the ball. It's loose, bouncing all around. Strubing comes up with it. And you see Moats over there on the Defiance bench telling his teammates, calm down, calm down. It doesn't seem like it, but 3 minutes is a long time. A lot of basketball can be played. A quick 30-second timeout. Again, Defiance leading by 2 here early into the overtime period. So teams will break huddle. And we'll get ready to get back into action. It'll be the Aces ball. Out of bounds on the baseline. Bland looking to handle the inbound chores. He gets it into Miller. Miller over to Tunis. Tunis down to Langham. Langham tries to feed it across court to Strubing. And stolen away by the Bulldogs. But they lose it out of bounds. And the Aces get the ball back. Bland, back to Miller. Miller to Tunis, back to Miller. And Tunis will play toss a little bit. Tunis, back to Miller. Guarded by Gorilla, who knocks it out of his hands. Gorilla going to take it to the hoop, up and good. Gorilla puts the Bulldogs up by 4. And that'll be a carry. Yep. So the Aces will turn it over again. Defiance will get the ball back. 1:40 left in the overtime. They've got their first team rested. They're coming back out onto the floor. Moats. Bounce pass in to Hutchison. Hutchison over to Held. Held back to Hutchison. We've been 90 seconds left in the overtime. To Klein. Klein guarded by Bland, looking for some help, and timeout by the Aces, or by the Bulldogs. Klein was in trouble. Bland was guarding him close, and it was getting close to getting the 5-second call. So Defiance bench calls the timeout. Quick 30-second timeout. We're in overtime of the 8th grade game, and again, a little past the halfway point of the 3-minute overtime period, and the Bulldogs have jumped out to a 4-point lead, 30-26. Aces need to make it happen here pretty quick. 1:23 left in the game. Inbounds, makes it to Lammers. Lammers for 3. Oh my, that hurts. They hit that one when they need it the most. Then a steal from Lammers at the other end. That one's no good. He gets his own rebound. There'll be a foul on the floor. Miller's slow getting up. 33-26 now. Bulldogs with the lead. And Lammers going to be at the line. 1:11 to go. Shot no good. Put back up by Moats. No good. Ball grabbed by Tunis. Tunis with 1:05 to Langham. And he's fouled by Held. Held shakes his head saying, yep, okay, I did it. And that's going to put Langham at the line. Braden Langham so far has not scored yet tonight. We could use a couple here with the clock stopped in this overtime. So Langham with the 1-and-1. Gets the first one. (33-27) now. Langham looking to make it a 5-point game. That one's short. Out of bounds, and it'll go to the Bulldogs with 1:03 left in the overtime. Inbounds to Held. Held to Klein. Klein hacked. Nope, he traveled. Aces get the ball back. 58.9 seconds. Bland inbounds to Langham. Quickly to Miller. Over to Strubing. Back to Miller. Miller drives into the paint, and it's stripped away by Hutchison. Hutchison takes it the distance, lays it up, no good. Tunis grabs the board. Tunis long pass down, grabbed by Moats. Moats trips, ball's loose, picked up by Miller. Miller gets it under control, gives it to Bland. Bland shot, no good. Miller tries to get the putback. He's loose on the floor. It'll be a jump ball with 31.3 seconds left in overtime. Sessionero should give it to, the Aces. Bland will look to handle the inbounds. Gets it into Langham, and it's knocked loose. Out of bounds, last touched by the Aces. No love lost between Langham and Moats in this game. Lammers gets the long inbounds, feeds it over to Hutchison, back to Held, to Moats. Held, and we're going to have a foul, a reach in. With 19.1 seconds, and that's going to send Held to the line. Held's first one, no good. Rebound, McDonald, that pops out, winds up in the hands of Strubing. He's going to feed it over to Miller. Miller puts it up, no good, with 9. Lammers throws it back to Hutchison. Hutchison gets mugged with 5.2 seconds. So Hutchison will go to the line for the Bulldogs with 5.2 seconds. And he'll shoot 2 because that was foul number 10 on the Aces. So double bonus now for Defiance. Hutchison's first one, no good. He gets another one. Everybody seemed to forget that it was a double bonus, except for the referees. Aces had grabbed the board and they were off and running. They had to be brought back. The Bulldogs dropping 4 back on defense. 5 seconds as they reset the clock there. Hutchison's second shot. is no good. Langham quickly to Tunis. Tunis, a long three, no good, and that's the ball game. And your final score in overtime, it's the Defiance Bulldogs beating the Hicksville Aces in the 8th grade game, 33-27. And we'll figure out the scoring here. And we'll start with the Bulldogs. On the losing end tonight, they were led and leading all scorers, actually, Travian Tunis, who finished up the evening with 16 points to his credit. 5 points tonight for Isaac Strubing, 3 for Jacob Miller, 2 for Gabe Bland, and 1 from Braden Langham. Braden scored the one and only point for the Aces in the overtime period. On the other side of the coin for the Defiance Bulldogs, winners in the 8th grade game. It was Moats leading their scoring with 11 points, 7 tonight for Lammers, 6 points for Held, 3 points tonight for Gorilla, 2 points each for Chapel, for McDonald, and for Klein. And there you have it again, 33-27 in overtime. Your final score earlier tonight, the Aces beat the Bulldogs in the 7th grade game, 36-26. That's going to wrap it up for this evening. We do want to thank you for joining us. A big thanks once again to the junior high athletic department here at Hicksville High School for giving us the space to do the broadcast. Thanks also to the underwriters for tonight's basketball broadcast, Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, and online, JimSchmidtAuto.com. I want to thank them so very much. Also, big thank you, Ava Listi, cutting her teeth tonight and running camera for the first time as a HIX-TV volunteer. Got an overtime game and everything. I want to thank her so very much for volunteering her time. And for Ava, I'm Bill Murphy saying one final time, your final score in the 8th grade boys game. It was Defiance beating Hicksville in overtime 33-27. For Ava, I'm Bill saying good night and good sports.